Prologue. It was easier than he ever would have imagined, wringing a woman's neck. Cleaner than using a gun or knife, certainly. She struggled, but she was a slip of a thing, and he still had the strength of a younger man. With his hand crushing her windpipe, she couldn't scream, and he could see in her wide blue eyes that she was too terrified to cry. For that, he was grateful. It made everything easier after all. He waited in the frantic silence. At last, she stopped thrashing, but he waited still for the angry throb of her pulse to die away under his thumb before he let her go. Then he left her body where it fell, on the dense gray pile carpet, half hidden behind a giant fake potted plant, and made his way back through the empty offices to the elevators. When the doors rumbled open, he paid no mind to the sign hanging at eye level, an ornate curl that declared, "Hathor knows what you've done." He stepped into the car and turned his back on it to push the button for the lobby. When the doors closed, they made another sign in matching font. "But Helen knows what you need." He ignored the marketing slogan as he had on the way up. His hands, so sure a moment ago, were shaking now. He looked down at them in bemused curiosity, but his mind drifted on to other things. All in all, he thought, it had gone fairly well. Not the evening he had been hoping for, but not as bad as it could have been, all things considered. As the numbers ticked down, it did occur to him that he probably hadn't needed to kill her, but she'd surprised him, and he'd gone on first instincts. A loud ding sounded before the doors buzzed open, and he stepped into the foyer. Out of old habit, he nodded to the receptionist on his way out. Across the marble floor, he pushed through the big plate glass doors and stepped out into the night, darker already than it ever got back home, but not nearly so chill as he would have expected. His car was still waiting for him by the curb, another lucky break. He pulled the door open, and as he was climbing in, he thought once more about the sign hanging in the elevator. "Hathor knows what you've done." The door fell heavily shut behind him, clunked, and the reality of it finally struck him. He'd killed a girl. He had committed a crime in front of God and everybody. He sank deeper into his seat and pressed the heels of his hands against his eyes. He took a deep breath. Why did he feel so calm? Was this shock? Or had he simply made the wisest choice in a difficult situation? He shook his head because it didn't matter. Panic or not, he was in trouble, he knew that much. He took another breath. "I know you're listening," he said. He was surprised his voice didn't tremble. He took some confidence from that. "And I need your help. I need the record changed. I need that not to have happened. Please." He winced at the word. It always made him feel small. But he caught his breath and pressed on. "Please, fix this for me." He waited a moment in silence, head bowed, hoping for some answer. None came. Still, his heart felt a little lighter. There was never any answer, but he was always listening. Everything would be all right. He let his head fall back until he was staring up out the rear window at the massive looming edifice of the database services office building glowing in the night. "Take me to the airport," he said to his driver. "Make it quick." He felt the wash of motion carrying him away from his sin. Overhead, the streetlights became a percussion and then a blur, and the noise of the city outside faded to a hum. He sighed and let his mind wander. Nothing to worry about at all.